The number one reason why people don't achieve their dreams? Doubt. Doubt will kill all your motivation, doubt will kill all your ambition, doubt will make sure that all your aspirations go right out the window. In actual fact, doubt will make you fail at your trading career quicker than you can hit profits. That is right. And when it comes to the financial markets, whether it be options, whether it be stocks, whether it be Forex, doubt is the killer of your success in the financial markets. And by the end of this episode, you will not only recognize doubt, but you will be better at understanding doubt, and you'll be better at coping with this trick of the mind and getting round doubt. And that is what we're doing in episode 7 of the Mind Mastery series. Stay tuned, let's go. Trading is inherently risky. Nothing is 100% in the financial market. Said another way, there is no guarantees at all. At the end of the day, we are trying to predict the future. And when you're trying to predict the future, it can be very difficult, especially when there's money on the line. Then it becomes double as difficult. But what you must understand is there is a difference between doubt and caution. One is natural and the other is destructive. Caution is having a strategy and sticking to it and not going out with that strategy. Caution is not taking risks that you don't need to take. Caution is thinking about the actions that you are doing. Doubt is the opposite. Let me give you an example. You've got your setup, you've got your parameters for the setup. So it ticks the box for your entry, it ticks the box for your risk reward, it ticks the box for your volatility, whatever that may be. You're just about to enter, and then you start doubting. What if it doesn't go the right way? What if this wasn't right? What if that wasn't right? And this is where you've got to ask yourself the question, and that is, if you've already got the strategy in place that you must stick to mechanically, which means that you must stick to, adhere to all the rules, then there is no place for doubt in that strategy. When you've looked at your risk reward, when you've looked at the profile of that trade, when you've looked at the various things or attributes, the boxes that must be ticked to enter that trade, is there a section there for doubt? No, of course not. Why? Because doubt is just not natural. Doubt is something that your brain will use to kind of keep you safe. It comes from pessimism, and pessimism would have kept us safe in the past, but pessimism for the financial markets is not a good thing. Why? Because it allows doubt to creep in. When doubt creeps in, that is when you start to hamper your strategy, you start to break your rules. That is when you not even break, you're not even sticking to the rules, which, you know, in order to even break your rules, you have to stick to them in the first place. So we're not even at that point because you're so frozen from doubt, you're questioning the things that you have put in place. And that is why doubt is just destructive, whilst caution is natural, right? Caution is, let's say you take sports, right? And you know, in a sport like football, every time you go up the field and you're about to score a goal, there's a certain play that you like, but you have to replay the same thing, the rules that have worked, the strategy that's worked, so you stick to that. That's just being cautious because you're doing something that works and you're not trying to break something that's not broken. Doubt is the opposite, right? Where you start questioning your ability, even though you've scored that goal 100 times in the same play, the same manner, and then you mess it up. Why? Because you've allowed doubt to creep in. You've broken the rules. You've allowed doubt to sabotage the very thing that you have worked up to, the very rules, the standards that allow you to continue having success. And that is the difference between caution and doubt. And let's talk about the consequences of doubt, because I think this is really where we can think about something relatable. I know to everyone who is in the financial markets, this is something that is relatable, and that is the consequences of doubt. And this is, let's run through a list, you know, and the first one I want to look at is coming out of early trades too quickly. Why? Because you allow doubt to step in. And yes, we spoke about this in previous episodes where fear doesn't allow you to hit your profit targets, right? Because you think that the trade is suddenly going to reverse, or you don't have patience with your strategy. We speak about this in episode 2, having patience with market conditions and strategy. So exiting on a trade too early because you start to doubt it. And again, it comes down to sticking to your rules, right? Because the thing is that doubt is always going to play a factor, right? We always doubt things. We're always going to doubt ourselves, no matter what level of success you get to. The key here is that no matter if the trade, the play, the setup isn't going your way, you stick mechanically to those rules like your life depends on it. Why? Because letting those rules stick, letting that strategy play out, not allowing doubt to sabotage that, will really allow you to know if that trade was right or if your profits are going to hit. Why? Because you have to let the future play out. Because what are we trying to do? We're trying to predict the future, and predicting the future, what did I say at the start of this video? There is no guarantees, there is no 100%, and if that is the case, then that means that there is no space to not allow something to play out, especially when it comes to allowing the trade to play and allowing those profits to hit or allowing that stop to hit. You cannot exit early. You must stick to the rules and you must not exit under no conditions, because the second you let doubt creep in once, then it will creep in a second and a third and a fourth, and everything else goes out the window. And this leads me on to the second thing, and is panicking, right? So that's another consequence of doubt, is you allow panic to set in when the markets aren't going your way. And we speak about this in episode 2, patience with market conditions. This all ties in together. You have to be patient with market conditions, as if the market's going to do what you want it to do. It's never going to do what you want it to do. It's going to do what it wants to do. And our job as traders or participants of the financial markets is to try and navigate market conditions no matter what they're doing. No matter if they are super volatile, there's storms, no matter if they are super quiet and there's not much volume, the sun is out, no matter what is happening, you must allow the market conditions to play out, because they're never going to be the same, and this is why you must have patience with them, right? So again, a lot of these motions are tied in, but right now we're talking about the consequences of doubt. And the consequences of doubt here are that when the market conditions don't go your way, you start to panic. And why? Because in your mind, before you place that trade, I know for a fact you played it out in a certain way. I enter, this is going to go here and here, and when it doesn't, that is when you panic. That is when panic sets in, and that is when you are not being patient with market conditions and the doubt is starting to come in. But like I said, don't doubt the market, because you cannot control the market, so there's no space for doubt there. Do you see that? Don't doubt the markets, because you cannot tame the markets, right? So you must be patient with them, and that is why you cannot panic when something doesn't go your way. And a third, and I would say this is more of a mature consequence. And what do I mean by a mature consequence of doubt? Let me give you an example. You've been trading a few years, you have experience, you have a strategy that you've improvised, you've reflected upon, you have a journal, and you're starting to see success, some consistency, and all your hard work that you have put in. And then you start to second guess something that has been working, that you've perfected, that you've adapted to your own style, to your own way of gaining alpha from the financial markets, from profiting from the financial markets. You start to second guess that thing that you've worked so hard to get to a point of delivering consistent profits. That, in my opinion, is undoubtedly one of the worst consequences of doubt. Why? Because all that work can quickly cascade and come out of control and go out the bin, out the window. And this is one of the most important things. And yes, this may apply to more experienced traders. Even if you're not experienced but you've been dabbling in the financial markets, this will apply to you, because you're not allowing something that is tried and tested to do what it needs to do. Let me give you the best analogy for this. If I open up a pizza shop or a burger shop and I sell a burger and it sells well, it sells like hotcakes, pun intended, and people love it. They're queuing round the door. They can't get enough of this burger, enough of this pizza. Why do you want to change up? Why would you doubt yourself if you had one bad day, one bad week, one bad month, for whatever reason it is? Because there's conditions out with your control that you cannot control, i.e. in this case, the market that you cannot control. And therefore you second guess all that hard work that you've put in, all those blood, sweat and tears to make a successful product, to make a successful strategy. That is the biggest sabotage that you can have when it comes to being in the market for a long time. That's one of the biggest consequences of allowing doubt to seep into your game, to seep into your strategy. And that is the biggest killer. So with that being said, these are the consequences of doubt, and we can talk about lots of other consequences, but I think these really encapsulate how doubt will impact you as a trader, whether you're just beginning or whether you're experienced. These things are the consequences that you must reflect, listen, remember, so that when they come up, you're aware of these, you're cognizant of these, and that is going to help you to control doubt when it comes to the financial markets. And on that note, and I'm going to say this again because I said it in the last episode, and I've said it before, a stop loss doesn't mean anything. A stop loss is a normal part of your strategy. A stop loss is your guardian angel. A stop loss is your best friend, and a stop loss is a fundamental requirement of a successful trading strategy. You heard that. If you don't have stop losses, your trading strategy is going to fail. That is a best way to look at this. And the stop loss doesn't allow, or it shouldn't allow, doubt to creep in, because it's a normal part, because you should have it. In actual fact, that is a box that should be ticked, that you're hitting a stop here and there, because it means that you can reflect and refine your strategy. So stop loss is a normal part. They are your guardian angel. Stop loss should never allow doubt to creep in. Remember that. Rewind, watch what I said again. A stop loss is a normal part, and you should allow it to happen, and it's not something that opens the door for doubt to flood in, okay? Because it's normal. Now let's think about overcoming doubt in trading. The number one thing of overcoming doubt in trading is trust the process. And we've briefly spoke about this. In actual fact, it touches into a lot of the points we've made. And by trusting the process, you have your defined strategy that we spoke about. Under your defined strategy, you have rules that you will stick to. These rules will adapt and change over time. And under these rules, strategy rules, you will have set out stop losses, you will have set out take profit targets, entry and exits. And under those, you will have your risk management that helps to guide those stop losses, those entries, and those take profits. So you're bringing that all together, right? You're syncing it, and that is where you must trust the process. You have a defined process. Now, if I could use the food analogy, maybe I'm hungry, but it's a great analogy. We come back to a burger or a pizza that you are selling that is doing well. You don't need to change the recipe. The recipe stays the same way. You prep the same way. You wait for your conditions of the market. You make that burger, you enter your trade, and then you manage the cooking process, you manage the trade, right? Because it's something you've done a lot of times. And sometimes if that burger's a little bit overcooked, you then use your risk management to kind of manage the cooking process. That's the same way with your trade, you manage it. So you must follow, you must trust the process. Process is a list of things, it's defined, it's rules, it's strategy, it's risk management. You must trust the process. So that is the first way that I would be overcoming doubt. Number two, let the market do its thing. And yes, this ties in with having patience with market conditions. Let me actually give you something from my experience, and that is a lot of the best trades that I have taken in the financial markets are the ones that didn't seem like they're going to go my way. That is right. It is counterintuitive to what you think. And I've already mentioned this. When we enter a trade, we think it's going to go a certain way, and when it doesn't, that's when doubt creeps in. From my experience, some of the best trades are the ones that don't look like they're going to have to go my way. But guess what? I stuck with it. I didn't let doubt kick in. I stuck to my step-by-step process. And guess what? They were the best trades. They were some of my biggest winners. And they really quashed doubt. And when you start to see this, especially if you're journaling your trades, and this is important to see this, you will see some of your biggest winners and take notes what you were feeling during your trades. And you will notice a pattern that all your best and winning trades, the emotions that you felt there were doubt, fear, because it wasn't going your way, and then they turned out to be the biggest winners. So you got to be patient with market conditions, as we speak about in episode 2, and that means that you got to let the markets do its things. And if it isn't going your way, you stick your strategy and you let it hit the stop, because guess what? 9 times out of 10, the ones that don't go your way will be your biggest winners by a country mile. And the last thing I would say is clarity over doubt, and this comes from experience, back testing, strategy, all these things. You'll never be 100%, but having clarity means that having these active processes and mindsets of how you can overcome doubt, accepting them, right? And then having, I wouldn't say faith, because faith is relying on, it's more emotional, but I would say it's having confidence in your experience today. It's having confidence in your strategy. It's having confidence in allowing your stop loss be hit. That is clarity. Clarity is a powerful thing. In actual fact, we will talk about clarity in the next episode, and clarity will help you to overcome doubt. And these are 3 things that we've just spoke about that help you to overcome doubt, help you to tame doubt, help you to keep doubt under a tight lid. So let's recap this episode of the Mind Mastery Doubt. Doubt is worse than failure. Why? Because doubt doesn't even allow you to try things to even fail. It doesn't even allow you to get to that point. And this is why doubt is one of the biggest killers of dreams in the world. How many entrepreneurs, how many businessmen, how many traders have failed that could have been the greatest of the great just because of doubt? And the last thing I will say is I encourage you to trust the process. I encourage you to trust your strategy. I encourage you to allow things to play out, because we are trying to guess the future, and allowing the future to unfold is the only way you'll get better at predicting the future. No space for doubt here whatsoever. And with that being said, that is the doubt episode of Mind Mastery wrapped up. I'll be back. It's your boy GTS. See you guys soon.